81%. That's what we're talking about tonight in the NBA Finals, Game 3. 81% of the time, the winner of Game 3 goes on to win the championship. So there's an 81% chance that the series will be decided in 48 minutes of basketball, maybe more, in Indianapolis at Gainbridge Fieldhouse coming up tonight. Let's get ready for it. Welcome to a special edition of the Sports Rush with Brett Rump. I am Brett Rump, and we're glad you are joining us. Of course, you can always subscribe to the channel, and that would be the nice thing to do. It's absolutely free, takes almost no time out of your busy schedule. All you have to do is find that little subscribe button and click it, and you can be a subscriber to this channel. Also, you may want to go ahead and like it, share it, and leave a comment. We would love to hear from you and what your thoughts are on this Game 3 matchup between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers. Pacers stole one in Oklahoma City, then got beat soundly in Game 2. How did the Pacers respond? I think the Pacers are going to respond fine because I don't know how you can't play well in front of what will be the craziest crowd to be in Gainbridge Fieldhouse, perhaps in history for Gainbridge Fieldhouse. It is going to be a lot of fun there tonight. It's going to be a zoo with people packing the place outside the arena, people packing the inside of the arena. And Oklahoma City has not been a great road team. They're 4-3 in the playoffs on the road. So they are beatable when you get them in your building. They've been very good on their home floor. But I think the Pacers do have a chance to win this game tonight, but a few things are going to happen. Number one, Tyrese Halliburton has to get back to being Tyrese Halliburton. Halliburton was not himself in the first two games. I think he got kind of overwhelmed and maybe a little surprised by just how good the hands team was for Oklahoma City. They're very handsy. They're very physical, and they will push you into places on the floor where they will get you into a lane where they can reach in and hands will poke the ball away. They're very good. That gap coverage by Oklahoma City, really, really good. And they've got the kind of players that can play it. They're really quick laterally. They get into that gap quickly. When you think there's space and you go to attack, it all of a sudden evaporates and the space isn't there anymore. And I think the Indiana Pacers have made the switch to having Andrew Nembhard as the primary point guard, and that is huge for Tyrese Halliburton because he was not handling it all that well. Andrew Nembhard, you know he'll handle it because he's just a bulldog out there. Sometimes doesn't hit shots and sometimes gets into a funk and doesn't score, but you'd expect him to be able to play well at home tonight in a game with this type of pressure, this kind of stakes, because that seems to be when he rises and becomes his best. But I think Nembhard's going to run the primary point, and that gives Tyrese Halliburton a chance to get his shot. Because one thing about penetration is if you can get to the paint, you can kick it out, and you will get three-point looks. And at home, I think the Pacers are going to make those three-point shots. Pacers also are 5-0 in the playoffs when they score over 110 points. And so you could look at it and say, well, they're going to score 110 at home. In fact, I think they could score 120. I think this could be the highest scoring game we've had in the series because both teams have had a chance to see how the other team's defending them. They've got a chance to kind of implement some game plan to attack the defense because of the extra days in between these games. I mean, we're just a week into this series and we're only on the third game. And so I think both teams are going to be able to score points, really. I don't know that the Pacers can lock down Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He is just that good. He is Michael Jordan-esque. And when I say that, it's because Jordan was able to take over games and go one-on-one or just decide he was going to go get his team a bucket, and he did it more often than not. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is kind of the same guy. I mean, he's a good team guy, and then all of a sudden your team needs a bucket. He's going to try to find a way to attack and either have that step back, the teardrop, finish at the rim, or he can hit three-point shots. Not the strongest part of his game, but he can certainly hit three-point shots. You're going to get points from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You're not going to be able to shut him down. He is like Jalen Brunson was for the Knicks. He's a guy that you can probably count on to score 30, and then you got to figure out how do we limit the rest of the damage with the other players on the floor. Jalen Williams is a solid player, but I think the Pacers match up pretty well against him. So, I think they need to be able to keep him under 20. You can't have two players going in, and combining for close to 60 points. So keep him under 20, and I don't think anybody else is going to be capable of beating you on the road. Role players are not as effective on the road as they are at home, and that's going to be key for Oklahoma City, but it's also going to be key for the Indiana Pacers because a lot of the role players are the players they count on. Ben Mathurin, he's very important. Obi Toppin, very important. Thomas Bryant didn't have his best game in game 2. He's got to come back a lot more physical and better. The other thing that the Pacers, I think, and I'm sure this was shown on film, and this was part of the emphasis of the defensive game plan for game 3, is that the Pacers were burned multiple times when they got to ball watching. Anybody notice that they kind of relaxed when Oklahoma City took a shot, or when Oklahoma City drove, they kind of stood and watched the guy drive to the basket? And what happened? Their man cut baseline or cut back door. And a number of times the Indiana Pacers were burned on that. In fact, I know at least 4 that are just at the top of my head. Happened to Toppin, happened to Nesmith. Nembhard got burned. In fact, I think Nembhard might have even gotten burned on a 3, where he turned around, watched a guy drive to the basket from near the top of the key, and his man slid from the top of the key out to the 45-degree wing angle, and the kick out was a wide open 3-pointer. And so I think that the Pacers are going to have to be able to take away that back cut and take that away from Oklahoma City. All right, so what do you expect in this game? Let me know. We've got the comments. Make sure you also subscribe. Make sure you like. Make sure you always share the channel because we're trying to get this sucker to grow. And the only way it grows is with your help. We haven't beat the algorithm yet, so we do need your help to kind of help this organically grow. And the only way you can do that, or we can do that, is if we get your help. So we certainly appreciate it. Every subscription does matter. And it doesn't do anything to you. You're not going to get bombarded with emails. You're not going to get bombarded with texts. We're not going to solicit because you're subscribing. I mean, the only thing it does is it adds to our total of subscribers, and that's important when dealing with YouTube. So do the right thing, do the nice thing, and click the subscribe button before you leave this video. All right, so tonight, I expect that the Pacers will play well. And one guy that I think is going to have a really strong game is Miles Turner. I think he puts a lot of pressure on Hartenstein, who I think is going to get more minutes as this series goes. It seems like they're building the minutes with Hartenstein. They tried to go small in game 1, and they ended up losing that game. They played a little more of Hartenstein in game 2, and they got the win. I think Hartenstein will probably be out there a little bit more here in game 3. And that's a chance, I think, for Miles Turner to step outside and hit a couple 3-pointers. And I just have this feeling that Miles Turner's due. About every 3rd, 4th, 5th game, he hits 2 or 3 really big 3-pointers. And I think he's going to do it in front of the home fans, which he's also much better seemingly at home in those situations. So I think the Pacers shoot the ball well. I think they score. And when they score over 120, what is it now, 34-2 they are on the season? They've got a really good chance to win. And so I think that crowd carries the Pacers to a victory here in game 3. In fact, you get the Pacers plus almost 200 if you take them on the money line. And I think that's the value bet. That's the value bet tonight. The 5.5, I don't know. But you get plus 200 on your bet if you take the Pacers on the money line. I just have this feeling that the Pacers are going to play a good basketball game. It could be a 40-point Oklahoma City win, to be honest. But my gut is telling me ride with the Pacers in this one. Oklahoma City will probably bounce back and win the next game. I think they're going to ultimately, no matter what happens, I think they'll split the 2 games in Indy. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer after picking the Pacers to win game 3, but I kind of feel like it's going to end up being a 2-2 series going back to Oklahoma City. which would assure the Pacers of having Game 6 back in Indianapolis. But we'll see what happens. It's a big win tonight. The NBA Finals, Pacers, Oklahoma City. Appreciate you tuning in. Enjoy the game, and we'll give you our update after the game either tonight or early tomorrow morning. Have a great Wednesday night. Go Pacers!